60 minutes of your day, the Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour, and we haven't even started, and I want to argue with it. You said I thought it was crap when I was a kid. I thought it was crap when I was an athlete, and I think it's crap now that I'm 70. And that is the pressure that's supposedly so tough when you're playing bad teams. And I thought that's the pressure I love. That's the easiest pressure in the world. The easiest pressure in the world is going against somebody else knowing I'm going to kick your butt. And it's possible that you could win. But there's nothing better than going into any contest knowing you're better. Not made up, but you're better. Now, as I created then a homerism, upsets are for losers. There are some upsets, but you want to be the favorite. The greatest, the easiest confidence in the world is when you go and walk onto a field and play. Who's the worst team in the NFL? Tennessee Titans? Carolina Panthers? Who's worst?
Well, Tennessee had the first pick.
Yeah. I want that. That's the easiest pressure. And that's the toughest pressure because you're supposed to win. Yeah, because you're better. I want to be better. I want to be way better. And once in a while, I admit, you'll lose. Small price to pay for knowing every time I walk on. Man, it was terrible to walk onto a tennis court going, I got no chance to beat this guy. I got none. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try. Doesn't mean there might have been one upset out of 100. That's pressure. Pressure is knowing the person you're facing is way better. Now, if it's close, and maybe that's true in the NFL, they tell you it's close. I don't buy it's close. But take it away, Bryan Bulaga.
So you act as if it's as if the gap in talent in the NFL is enormous, and it's not enormous everywhere, right? Like, yes, there are instances where, like, you know, there is a really, really bad team every now and again. Like, I mean, really bad. Like, we're talking really bad.
No,
right?
You had those games because you were part of a good team. You don't have to tell me. You're like, ain't no way those people are beating us.
Okay, so, like, here's a perfect example, and, like, I hate to go back to it.
Yeah.
Like, a perfect example of it is in 2011 when we went to Kansas City and lost.
Yes.
Like, they were a bad team.
Yes.
And, like, there was no thought in our mind, and, like, the pressure wasn't, like, there's always pressure when you go into games against, you know, against teams that are technically underdogs, and you know what you're going to get from them. You're going to get their best shot. They're going to pull out all the stops. Like, they're going to do anything, right? They're going to do anything and everything, and you got to be prepared for unscouted looks and potential things that you haven't seen on tape. But what starts to build in those games, right? Like, and if it doesn't go according to plan is when, like, you go against a team like that and the game is tight, and then it's tight into the second quarter and they get a little more confidence, and then it's tight into the third quarter and they get even more confidence, and then you get into the fourth quarter, and then the talent level, right? It's because they still have good players, right? Like, you look at these bad teams. You look at these bad teams, right? Like the Kansas City team, for example, in defense, they had, like, their DNs were like Tom Ali and Justin Houston. Like, those were studs. Mm-hmm. Like, I just want to let you know, like, those are stud defensive ends. And they were a bad team, all right? You look at the Cleveland Browns. Their DN that they had, everyone wanted him on the Packers, Myles Garrett. He's a pretty good player. Like, that's a bad team. Their corners are pretty good, but everyone wanted him. You look at the Cleveland Browns offensive line, they got a lot of good players, but they're a bad team. So, like, when you start to get into these tight games, the pressure builds and goes back onto the good team to get it done. And the team that's not as good, they just cut it loose and play because they're not supposed to win anyway, right? Like, and it goes back onto the team that's supposed to be in there and get it done. So if the team that isn't is the underdog technically, right, keeps this thing tight long enough, the pressure then goes on to the favorite. Now, I'm not saying that
let me
happens
interject
every
for a
single
little
game.
bit. Until you brought up 2011.
Yes,
I'll bring up 2011. I know what pressure is. You know what pressure is? How many games did you win in a row? Was it 12? 13?
12 or
14.
13, yeah. 14, yeah.
13. I think it was 13. You finished 15-1. Yeah, 13. All right. I don't know what number you get to, but you get to a certain number, and the pressure is don't nobody win 10 in a row. Don't nobody win 11 in a row. Don't nobody win 12 in a row. That's the pressure. There's a reason nobody's done it, because it's that hard. So every game that you go, I don't know what the number is where you go, I don't care what nobody why is nobody going 11-0? Why have two teams only gone 12-0? Because it's hard. There's pressure there because you're due to lose. You know you're due to lose. Everybody knows you're due to lose because it's too hard to go unbeaten. So few teams have done it. That pressure I can understand. I don't know what I would say as a coach. Yep, we're due to lose. Every time I would say, here's what I would have said as coach at about 9-0. Recognize, we're not playing against the Detroit Lions. We're playing against history. This is so hard to do. 5 teams have done it in the history of the NFL, or whatever the number was. So you're not only facing Detroit, you're facing history. And I think you're up to it. But don't act like it doesn't exist. And that's how hard it is. 5 teams has done it. And then we done this game, and I go, it hasn't changed. You're fighting history, and now it just got a little tougher because there are only 4 teams, whatever the number is.
Yeah.
That's, to me, legit.
No, and you know what? You're right. But, like, I continue to, like, the reason why I said that is because sometimes you go into those games, those types of games, right? Like, you go into, like, the game against, say, the Panthers, or you go into the game against, I look at the Packers schedule, and maybe it's the Browns, or maybe it's maybe it's Cleveland. Like, even though if I'm an offensive lineman, I'm not going into the Cleveland game thinking anything but, oh my gosh, I better be ready to go because Myles Garrett is on the other side of the football, so I better be ready to play. Like, then that's the only thing on my mind. But for the rest of the team, right? Maybe they think, okay, well, it's the Browns, we're going to be fine. And that's the little sense of, complacency that lulls you to sleep. And it lulls you to sleep just long enough for that team to hang around long enough and to get their confidence, right? And because, these are all professionals, right? Like, I continue to say that.
I agree with that totally.
Yeah, because, like, if you give these guys enough confidence, like, even if they're bad, even if the team's bad that year and they really got nothing to play for, they have pride. I will tell you that much. And if they don't have pride, they're playing for one thing. They're playing for financial security. And when guys are playing for financial security, they're going to play hard. So that's one thing, because the tape does not lie. That is one thing. The tape does not lie. So if they're playing for something, it's for that.
And I want to add one other thing, because players can't tell the truth when they lose. Sometimes when you lose, regardless of the records, that team was better. They might not be, and it might be they're poorly coached. I don't know what the reason is. But every player would say that they were just better. And they're not going to necessarily want to say that. And then other times you say, we just screwed up. And usually it's turnovers, right? They suck. And they beat us. Well, you turn the ball over enough, you lose. But, these are the things that I know players can't really say because you're saying it and everybody's had it. Yeah, everybody thought we were so much better. But they were better than we were that day. Like you said, for whoever the players are, whatever positions, I think that can happen more often because if you're on a poorly coached team, then you're probably apt to be more inconsistent. But on some days, you overcome even your coaches when you're on a good team. So, but those are things that you guys can't say. After the game, you can't go, hey, like I thought that when you lost to the Giants in the playoffs. But I'd have to ask players. They were better. I mean, I don't know how it was early in the year, but this was not a fluke. The better team that day won, and I'm not even sure how close it was. And granted, there were turnovers, but I don't know anybody watching that game goes, they should have never won that game. Now, you could say that about the Seattle game, I think, easily.
Yeah.
But I thought
the
Giants just kicked your butt.
Yeah, they played better.
Yeah.
They played.
They had aspects, as you've alluded to, that gave them the chance. And they proved they were better, not just in that game, but in the next game.
Yep, and in the next game,
Yes.
and in the next game, and that's what it was. So like, and listen, I hate making excuses. I really do it, and I'm not saying this was um the this a reason for this or not, but like there were things that happened. I mean, I get we had the 1 seed, we had the bye week.
No, the offensive coordinator's son killed himself, right?
He passed
early
away,
in the
yeah.
week, Tuesday or whatever.
He passed away. Philbin's son passed away, and that, I mean, it was a big deal.
I could be wrong. Maybe he didn't commit suicide. I don't know, but it was a tragic situation.
Yeah, he passed away, and it was a big deal. It sent a big shockwave through the team, and it was a we'll just say it wasn't a minor disruption through the week, right? We'll just put it that way. Joe was very heavily involved with what happened offensively throughout the week. Very heavily involved, and very involved with Aaron. With what was going on throughout the week, had a big impact with what was going on upstairs, in those coaches meetings after practice and the planning and things like that. And obviously he was taking care of family matters, right? Like he was not there for those things. And I'm not saying because he was there, we didn't play good. Right. So, like, let me just say that we didn't play good.
You told us this before. They also had the kind of defense that had the potential to give you difficulty.
100%.
Right.
They had the defense that if we didn't play well enough, they had the defense that could do that. Right. Like if we didn't play well enough, they had the defense that could do it. They could rush 4.
Like, you can't say it, but I'll always believe if that hadn't happened, the game would have been closer. I don't know that you would have won, because the Giants were just, I think, proved they were that good. But it had an effect.
Yes.
And so I don't know how, if I was a player, and I'm in your shoes, I don't know what I would do. Because you can't win going there, but it's just a lie not to think that what occurred didn't have some effect on that team. And if the Giants hadn't done as well after the game, that's how that game would be remembered.
Yes, 100%. I mean, and that's the thing. And like, and it was always that first drive that sticks in my mind against the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
That it was like a 3rd down and 8 or 9, and Aaron barely missed a throw to Greg.
Yep.
Overthrew him just barely. And like, to me, that was like, wow, he overthrew Greg. He's never overthrown Greg all year. Like, what do you mean he I thought it was a touchdown. Like, I started walking down the field thinking like because I saw him wide open, and it was incomplete. I'm like, well, that's almost never happened. And that was just it was just and it continued to just kind of boil over for us, right? And it just continued to happen and happen. And we can never get ourselves out of it and going. And then obviously turnovers happen. I mean, self-inflicted offensive line errors. And I think we had a couple fumbles and things like that happened. And they had the Hail Mary at the end of the half. And like, things that were uncharacteristic of that football team that year. Right. And it was all things that got outplayed, right? Got outplayed. And that's the end of the story. Like, that really is it.
Yes.
That's it.
And you would have thought some of those things in the past you could recover from them, but there was never recovery. All right, it's 5:15, and this is all about the comments that you were talking with KBN. But I did want to discuss with you the story about Caleb Williams, because I'm incapable of understanding how so many people can, I don't want to say be so stupid, but analyze this the way they have. And maybe it's because they're all so young. But the analysis of the discussion, this is a book that, when does it come out? Like maybe tomorrow? And they released some early stuff that talked about how Caleb Williams, or his father, basically didn't want to play, or gave serious thought to not wanting to play for the Chicago Bears, because the Bears have sucked and they've done a terrible job with quarterbacks for many years. And the premise, since it first came out, was just how terrible he is, how terrible his father is, and I'm incapable of comprehending how even one person could think that. And yet, the discussion is just how even Boomer Esiason said it, and I'm a huge fan of Boomer Esiason, but I'd love to interview him because he's old enough, and I'm thinking, what are you thinking? This wasn't invented by Caleb Williams. In fact, John Elway and Eli Manning refused to play for the team they were drafted and forced trades. Caleb Williams agreed to play for the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
So how is he the evil guy just because he said the Bears were a mess?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's why I thought I'd ask you. When two famous people refused to play for a team and forced a trade, which would seem to me to be significantly more selfish or entitled. I mean, if there was anybody, it would probably be Eli Manning, since he's a Manning, and the younger of them, that you would bring that up about him. But so I would think with the book, people should like Caleb Williams even more. Like, everything they said was accurate. And in the end, he said, all right, maybe it would mean his agent wasn't as good, because the agents involved with Eli Manning, and especially with John Elway, were, I think, big shots. I think Elway had Myron Denoff, or I can't remember. He was whoever it was. I'm not sure with Eli Manning the same.
I think Eli had Condon, CAA.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
My guy.
I want everybody to like Caleb Williams more. Doesn't mean you think he's a better player, and maybe it is simply because they didn't have the proper agent.
Well, I look at it this way. Like, I'm kind of with you. Like, no matter what the rhetoric was before he joined the team, right? Like, he could have said, I despise Chicago. I hate the Bears. They stink there, whatever. He could say whatever he wants, right? It does not matter. He was drafted to the team. He agreed to be drafted by the team. He did not demand a trade and said, I'm not showing up. He went and showed up there last year, played, really got destroyed because of their incompetence. So everything he said prior was correct, right? He said everything he said that is in this book is correct, that they don't know how to develop quarterbacks. That's why they're a disaster. He experienced it last year. Hopefully, by the offensive line getting him destroyed. How many times? Who knows? I don't even know how many times he got sacked and hit.
Sacked 6,000 times last year.
Yeah. So he was correct on everything he said. So we'll see if now the organization is coming good to it, right? If they've made corrections with Ben Johnson and the moves they made on the offensive line, but he should be even commended more that he's sticking it out and he's changing and trying to make this thing work in Chicago. That's the way I see it. Like, he's trying to make it work. He's trying to make this team better. He's there. He is there. He is trying to be their franchise quarterback. Doesn't matter what he said prior to getting drafted. Who cares? What does it matter? Like honestly, like, why does it matter to them? Or why is it a big deal? Like, all this demanding of, like, release him, trade him. Who cares? Like, really? Like, what is it? Like, what? Like, it's water under the bridge now. Like, serious. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a good off-season story, but, like, it to me, it's
right.
It's
and when
irrelevant.
they released that story, I expected people to say, I don't know why they're releasing that. He didn't even leave. Like,
No.
History might show that his only mistake was not listening to his dad, right? I mean, if it doesn't go well with this coordinator, or that he wasn't that good to begin with, that would be. But in the end, if it doesn't go well, the history's going to be, Caleb, you should have stood by your guns before the draft, because others did. Or I will defer to you because you lived it. If that's what you want to do, it wouldn't have been hard to behind the scenes ask, all right, who do we get as agent?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you'd know, you could call around. You would be able to tell them the number one agent to have if you, knowing the Bears are going to take you, don't want to play for the Bears, right? There's somebody who'd be the best, and I would guess he might be it if he was the one that was there with Eli Manning.
And it's very easy to find that guy.
And I would emphasize that John Elway had an out. He said he was going to play baseball with the Yankees, which everybody thought was bogus, but it was legit because he was a baseball. I don't think Eli Manning had anything.
No, I don't know what. I don't know what Eli was going to do.
He said, "I'm not playing there."
Yeah, I don't know what. I don't know what he was going to do.
All right. Yes, everybody, even Packer fans, should like Caleb Williams even more. Doesn't mean you root for him. Doesn't mean you say he's any good. But this action, the way it's being analyzed or presented, needs to be said to Boomer Esiason and all of them. How do you come up with this? Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 43 backing up from Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette to the KK River. Northbound slowing down just before the Marquette all the way through up to Keith. Southbound on 41 backing up from just south of Good Hope Road. It is pretty solid all the way down to Burleigh. Northbound slowing down from before Mayfair Road all the way up to Silver Spring. We've got eastbound 94 slowing down from Highway 164 all the way through to Brookfield Road, and then again from about 76th Street through to Holly Road. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a chance of rain later on, a low of 45. Tomorrow, rainy, windy with a high of 50. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Your chance to spend an afternoon on the links with ESPN Milwaukee is just a tap away. The 2025 Delzer ESPN Milwaukee Open happens July 15th at the Ball Golf Course, and we're inviting a lucky ESPN Milwaukee fan and 3 guests. Hang out with your favorite ESPN Milwaukee hosts, play around at one of Wisconsin's most popular courses, and enjoy food and drinks throughout the day. Open up the contest tab in the ESPN Wisconsin app and register for your chance to win this fan foursome with ESPN Milwaukee.
Baseball is back. Bryan Bulaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Surfside is only 100 calories per serving, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Ask for it at your local bar or liquor store. Surfside, an official partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 years of age. Please drink responsibly.
Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The We Sell group at Keller Williams has a goal of making it stress-free for everyone. Their passion is people, their availability is unmatched, something I'm experiencing firsthand while I search for a lake home to enjoy Wisconsin summers even more. Rob and Nick are there every step of the way, not just for their sellers, but also to potential buyers and their agents to bring in as many strong offers as possible. Get started today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
Truck drivers, are you tired of an outdated truck hurting your paychecks? At Schneider, we add new trucks to our fleet every year to keep drivers moving and racking up the miles. Our easy-to-use technology is designed to keep you safe and comfortable while also boosting your income potential. So, are you ready to get behind the wheel of a more reliable ride? Find jobs near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Discover an unreal treasure this May at Potawatomi. Don't miss your chance to win a share of $300,000 in cash and prizes. Just play with your rewards card for entries. Prize drawings on Thursdays. Unreal treasures this May at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Your win is waiting. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Walls. Right now, get 50% off your windows plus no interest and no payments for 12 months and a free entry door with your window purchase. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
The best hour of your day, the Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. Not surprised, Bryan Bulaga was right about the agent for Eli Manning at the draft. It was, in fact, Tom Condon. From the court to the classroom and the community, the Champions for Literacy celebration with Dwayne Wade and Travis Diener will be an event you don't want to miss. Join Wade and Diener on June 27th at the garage at the Harley-Davidson Museum and make an impact by raising funds for literacy. Get tickets and full event information right now at wadeversusdiener.givesmart.com. wadeversusdiener.givesmart.com. I mean, Eli Manning was crazy. Okay, Eli Manning was represented by Tom Condon, who also represented the Chargers coach at the time, Marty Schottenheimer, who was an outstanding coach. And I think I'd have to go back, but I'm assuming at that time was a highly respected. And the quarterback at the time, Drew Brees, he moved on. I think he got hurt. Or I don't know why. It was Phillip Rivers who ended up being the quarterback for the Chargers. And the team star running back, LaDainian Tomlinson. And Eli Manning said it was my decision. My dad was involved only to kind of take the pressure off me because he knew everybody would be mad. But in the end, it worked out. He won a couple of Super Bowls with the Giants. But he was crazy because the Chargers ended up doing well and becoming good.
Yeah, they were a good team.
Right.
But they didn't win any Super Bowls.
No, that started the 2004 draft. So, yeah, in the end, but my premise is that Caleb Williams, if you want to talk about loyalty, should be impressed significantly for his loyalty. And I would assume that if I was writing the book, which is going to come out, that would have been what I would have addressed in terms of asking the father, or, I don't even know who the agent for Caleb Williams is. Do you?
I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, all right, now we get to the more important stuff, and that, of course, is the Green Bay Packers. Somebody did tweet, and you go to YouTube, they had an NFL father and a brother, of course, but Eli, years after, said it was me. And I'd be, curious to the discussion. But my point is, they did it. I ain't playing there. And the Chargers traded him. Fine, okay. They took him, and then I don't know what they got. My guess is they must have got something good for it, or I didn't read those particulars. But the same way with Elway. Elway didn't want to play with the Colts because Frank Kush was the head coach. And people thought he was a crazy man as a college coach at Arizona State, and so he didn't go there. And then he ended up with Denver. That worked out pretty well, right? You'd say the two that pulled it off they both won 2 Super Bowls.
They were smart. They ended up their way.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Condon is still working, right?
I think he does a little bit. I think his younger son, Tommy Jr., has taken.
But he would. Aside from being short, he would have been the perfect person to ask for the Williams.
Yes. If he wanted to do it, he would have.
Right.
He would have been the guy.
Or to consider doing it. I mean, you have literally an expert who lived.
He pulled it off.
Yes.
He did it.
and while he pulled it off, the team that pulled it off was really the Chargers because they still took him. But they convinced the Chargers that they needed to trade him.
Yeah, I mean, which must have been those phone calls must have been ridiculous. I mean, I couldn't even imagine those phone calls. Must have been insane.
You're free, if you wish, to call your agent and ask him to come on if he wants to,
discuss.
Well, just to discuss it about. If he's seen the book, heard of the book, and what they've mentioned about Caleb Williams, because he literally is the greatest expert on the planet Earth.
He is the greatest expert on the planet Earth at pulling it off. And who was Elway's agent at the time?
Myron Denoff, I think, who was a really big shot then. I think he was the agent for like Dan Marino and other people. I'd have to look back. I think I have there. He was, I mean, I can see it. If you're going to try to pull this off, you got to come with the big boys.
You got to come with the biggest names.
Yes,
you got to come with the
people
biggest
that
names.
have enough, whatever the word is, to be able to pull it off. Because you've got to convince the other team that you're not playing, which you really can't do. I mean, either team could have said, "Fine, you're never playing then."
I know,
right?
They could have just been like, "All right, well, I guess you're not going to play football."
Yes,
sounds good.
Which I had said was something you can use, and in the end, I don't know. I'd have to go back and I don't know. You'd say it. It certainly didn't work well for the Colts.
No,
they would have been way better off with John Elway, and this is where you have to be old, and that people don't realize how incredibly good he was in terms of taking teams that probably had no business making the Super Bowl, getting to the Super Bowl because of how good he was. Because then, of course, when they got to the Super Bowl, they got whooped. But anyway, all right. Now we get to. Has Jenkins told the Packers yet that he's not playing center? Has he taken my advice, Pebble? You follow these things.
He has not. No,
he has not to this point.
I don't think he's going to. I don't think that's going to happen.
All right.
Well, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming he wasn't there today, right? I mean, I'm assuming that.
I don't know that, but yes, I would guess. I don't even know the dates of when they're supposed to be there.
Next week is when they play, or it was when they have their OTAs.
Okay.
After Labor Day.
But
that'll be
Memorial
a good.
Day.
Yeah, that'll be a good indicator, right? That'll be the good. But like I said last week, it'll be the mini camp. It'll be the mini camp of that's mandatory, that paychecks or not paychecks, but big money starts getting taken, right? Like that's the real indicator of how long this is going to go.
It would be for me.
Yeah, I mean you're already out. Like we've talked about the workout bonus, and now you're going to get fined the mini camp money.
Right. Well, no. Here's what I'm doing. I kind of wish I've never wished. Here's what I'm doing. I'm showing up, but you know what I'm not doing?
Practicing.
No. I'll practice as long as I'm not practicing at center.
Yeah.
You practice me at center, I'm sitting because I'm not a center. You got whatever the drills are. Do you do some drills? Really often. Do you do some drills where it doesn't matter what position you play?
Well, the centers always have a ball in their hand.
Okay.
They always have a ball in their hand. Yeah.
I will have no ball. I'm showing up, but I will have no ball in my hands. I don't think he can be fined for that. Right?
No, nope, cannot. No.
I should put a fee on these things that is so easy. Right?
Yeah, they can't fine him for that.
Right.
There's no way. I mean, it's just, I don't think that, I just don't see him going down that path because, like, I just hope that they just work something out and just like, let's move on, man.
But
let's just move on.
I haven't heard anybody tell me, fine, you don't know if he's going down that path. Get Tom Condon on. I want to know what path he'd tell him to go down.
Well, if they're already down this path, like if they've already gone this far.
So what are they going to do if he says, I'm not playing center? Now what do they do?
Green Bay? I don't know what I don't know what their move would be. I don't know. I don't know what they would do internally. I don't know how that would go. Like, because I've never experienced that.
Okay,
right?
so
like
then, all right, the huge guy they brought in is going to play left guard. Is that right?
Banks, yeah. He's going to play left guard.
All right, so Jenkins says I'll play right guard. He's better than the alternative, right? No one's going to argue that.
Well, so then Sean Ryan kicks into center?
I don't know what Sean Ryan does. That ain't my problem if I'm Jenkins.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm saying, but you still got to have someone snap a ball.
The Packers got to figure that out, right?
Well, I know. Yeah, they do.
All right, who would you have at center then? Can Ryan play center?
He took some snaps in the.
Yeah.
in the playoff game,
right.
that which was weird, but he did that. But it wouldn't be my first choice. But they also claim that Zach Tom could play center, but that again would not be my second choice. So I don't know what they would do. But again, this is what Jason and I said last week, that they've predicated all these moves off Elgton moving to center. That's what makes this whole thing a little cloudy. If this doesn't kind of go through. So like, that's why I kind of see this working itself out one way or another. Like
and otherwise it shouldn't be a surprise if they knew this was going to happen, right? I mean, I don't know that they did or didn't, right? I mean, you deal with agents where, like, I don't know, whenever they first brought up, moving to center.
Yeah, I could imagine that there might have been a phone call from his agent to the front office, like, okay, like if we're moving, I'm like, let's do something with the last 2 years of this deal.
Take care of it, which I know you don't normally do, but you don't normally ask a player to do what you're asking him to do.
Correct. There might have been that phone call, and they might have said, I mean, they could have told them no, or they could have said, we'll address it later, or, who knows? You know what I mean? Who knows what they could have said?
And what I'm hearing from you, which I would tend to agree with, that you would assume this to get resolved because you assumed all these steps certainly took place. You assume that his agent would go, and they can say whatever they want. Look, you're asking him to do something that I don't know how many players there are in the NFL where this has happened. There aren't many, right? They don't move many people from another spot to center.
No, not, and the thing is, it's guys of his quality,
right?
Like it's guys of his quality moving to the center position. Like it just doesn't happen, right? Like it's it's not a normal thing. It's just not a normal thing. So you would expect something to get worked out.
And you would expect the Packers to understand that's got to be part of it. You can't say this is how we deal with all players, older players, with a couple years left in the contract. We don't guarantee anything. I'm his agent going, you got to have better than that. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like,
So we'll go to the third quarter. He should still like Caleb Williams. And everybody should understand he's being a team guy way more than Eli Manning or John Elway. Next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 43, we've got backups from just south of Capitol Drive all the way down through the Marquette. A little bit further down, starts to slow down again all the way down to the KK River crossing. So give yourself that little extra time there. Northbound on 43, that's pretty heavy from the Marquette all the way to Keefe. We've also got some big delays on 41 through the construction zones. Just a big old headache. Northbound, slow from Watertown Plank Road all the way up past Burleigh. Southbound, slowing from just south of Good Hope Road all the way down to Burleigh. Traffic is brought to you by the Bud Pavilion's free concert series, Wednesday Night Live. It's back. Gates open at 6. Live music starts at 7. With the Glam Band at State Fair Park. Summer fun starts this Wednesday at the Bud Pavilion. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Mostly cloudy, chance of rain later on with a low of 45. Tomorrow rainy and windy, a high of 50. Weather is brought to you by Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more. Easy and affordable apparel, personalization with no minimums and fast turnaround. For all your printing needs, bigfrog.com/Mequon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
Not too many times you get an MVP on one side and MVP on the other side in back-to-back years meeting for a Game 7 to advance in the NBA playoffs. Well, that's what we're going to have on Sunday at 3:30 Eastern Time on ABC and ESPN Radio. We have Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. He won the MVP last year, taking on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Oklahoma City, who's going to win the MVP this year. And many people have looked at this potential game as a potential referendum in terms of who wins and how maybe the MVP should not just be a regular season award. As STOP, stop. It has been a regular season award forever. There's no reason to change that now just because you want it to suit whatever agenda you have for one or the other. I'm just looking forward to this matchup. Two of the best players in the game, maybe the two best players in the game, meeting for a chance to get to the Western Conference Finals. No matter what you think about who should have won or who should not have won the MVP, we all can rally around that on Sunday with Nikola Jokic on one side and SGA on the other. In 60 seconds, Friday night at Madison Square Garden.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ, J-O-E-Q, to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
It's time to make your yard the best on the block with Memorial Day savings at the Home Depot. Start by keeping the weeds at bay with Earthgrow mulch, now 4 for $10. Then keep your garden thriving with Miracle-Gro garden soil, now on special buy, 4 for $10. Give your neighbors yard envy all summer long with Memorial Day savings going on now at the Home Depot.
Oh, the rhetoric is out there. The narrative is out there. What if the New York Knicks don't win Game 6? They have no chance of winning Game 7 in Boston versus the Celtics on Sunday. Let's worry about Sunday when Sunday comes. As for tonight, the New York Knicks have not clinched a playoff series at home in 26 years. The last time they did that was that miraculous team in 1999 that was an 8th seed in the Eastern Conference and got all the way to the NBA Finals before the San Antonio Spurs had enough of that Cinderella moment involving the boys from Gotham. So now the stage is set once again. They didn't get it done in Game 5. They have a chance to do it on that stage at Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, in Game 6. These are the kind of moments that make it so special to be an NBA fan, an NBA player, an NBA general manager, or just everything about the NBA. Two-story franchises, a player not there as part of that one-story franchise, and another trying to get back to the glory days that they had not had in a long time. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
As good as he was an offensive lineman, Bryan Bulaga taking care of his partners.
That's right. I want to talk about my friends over at Surfside. Living in Florida, I'm on the golf course a lot. And when it's time to reach for a cold beverage, it's always going to be a Surfside iced tea and lemonade plus vodka. That's right. It's just about golf season in Wisconsin. Already golf season here in Florida. And there's no better drink to enjoy on the golf course. It's light, refreshing, and made with real vodka. Surfside tastes cleaner than all those other drinks and doesn't leave your mouth feeling like it's coated in sugar. Plus, there's a great variety of flavors, like my favorite, the half tea, half lemonade, strawberry lemonade, peach tea, and so many more. Only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so you won't be feeling bloated and full after a drink or two. Cheers to hitting the fairway, and cheers to Surfside. It's tea time. Must be 21 years or older. Please drink responsibly.
And your state, your teams, your ESPN, the brand new ESPN Wisconsin app used to be Wisconsin On Demand. It'll change. If you actually have Wisconsin On Demand, it automatically changed. But now, if you haven't done it yet, you go to ESPN Wisconsin app. That's what you download. A customizable homepage, easier and quicker live listening. Your shows at the touch of a fingertip. The ESPN Wisconsin app available on Apple and Android app stores. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app today. On KBN, I think they were asking which was more likely, Pebble, 12 wins?
An 8-win season or a 12-win season?
Yeah, I heard Bryan Bulaga. I didn't argue with him on that. It was on something else. Yeah, I think 12 is more likely than 8, but
yeah,
I don't know what that means. But I have a better question. You ready for this one? Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, because this is really what it's asking. What would be a horrible season for the Packers? Not bad, horrible. Not making the playoffs, sub 500 record, fewer than 6 wins. What would be a horrible season? See, to me, it's sub 500 or not making the playoffs. If I really believe in the Packers, not making the playoffs would be a horrible season. Because I'm not even asking about a 4 seed. I will say that. I think they're good enough that not making the playoffs would be a horrible season. Of course, understanding you always factor in injuries because that would change it. But I will say I'm voting for not making the playoffs, but you got to believe they're pretty good to say that's horrible. I mean, for example, like the Philadelphia Eagles, they don't make the playoffs. I don't know. That'd be worse than horrible. Whatever worse than horrible is, that would be the answer in Philly.
Yep.
All right. Bryan Bulaga, Discount League Twitter poll question. What would be a horrible season for the Packers? Not making the playoffs, sub 500 record, or fewer than 6 wins?
I'm in the boat with you. I think it's not making the playoffs because, I think that's the expectation. I think that's bare minimum, right? I think that's bare minimum in Green Bay right now. I think with the expectation of the contracts given out to the quarterback, to the free agents over the last few years, right? With the guys they've gone out and gotten in the market, the expectation is the bare minimum is the playoffs. That is it, right? So if you don't even make that, if you don't even get to the playoffs, that's an awful season. That's a failure. And I know we look at it as if you don't win the Super Bowl, that's a failure. That's how we looked at it. And yes, that is the truth, right? If you don't win the Super Bowl, then yes, it is an overall failure. But there is things to look at throughout that. If you make the playoffs, win some playoff games, maybe get to the NFC Championship, there are some positives in that, right? There are some things you can build off of going forward. If you don't even get to that point, if you don't even get to the playoffs, what are you building off of then when you are supposed to be getting there year after year?
Right. You are assessing poorly the talent that's on the team.
Yes.
You're looking at they're, as people have mentioned, top 10 in offense and defense. And it's a lot of teams make the playoffs. You don't have to be that good. And aside from the possibility of injuries, which I mention only just because you do, but something would be wrong. Yes. Somebody's not as good as, and in a big way. All right. Now, we're going to take a break, and then we will get to Matt Bowen. I don't think he played. He was done before you played, right?
Yep. He wasn't at Iowa when I was there.
Yes. But you know of him.
Yes, of course.
He's pretty highly thought of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how he was pretty good at Iowa, too. I don't know is he in the Iowa Hall of Fame? I don't know. He's got no chance of being in the Packers Hall of Fame, but
I don't know. I don't know if he's in the Iowa Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Are you in the Iowa Hall of Fame yet?
No, I'm not. I'm not even nominated for it. There's guys that I played with that are already in it. I'm not even nominated for it. I don't know what I need to do, but I'm not even nominated. Maybe because I didn't graduate.
As much as I pushed you to graduate, I don't know how anybody could be so short-sighted to factor that in.
I don't know, but
you make a Hall of Fame because of how good you are. That's my view of the Hall of Fame. But you were there 3 years?
Yep.
And you played all 3 years?
Yep.
All right. We'll have somebody else do the research. You know how you check the Hall of Fame? Because you wouldn't do this. It's like anything else. Who's in? And let me see their resume. I don't have to be the best member of the Hall of Fame, but I damn well better not be better than the worst. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just for you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Let's talk about home turf. Your lawn is a reflection of your pride, hard work, and even competitive spirit. If you want a yard that makes the neighbors stop and stare, you need the right plan. That's where Weedman Lawn Care comes in. Weedman's lawn care program is kid and pet friendly, uses golf course quality fertilizer, and has an effective weed treatment to dominate any issue. Get a free quote of Weedman's winning formula for your yard at weedman.com and get 50% off your first treatment. That's weedman.com. Weedman for the win.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
Buying a new roof might not be the most exciting thing you'll do this year, but for us at Big Fish Contracting, being chosen to do that roof for you not only provides income for multiple families in southeastern Wisconsin, but has a global reach and impact around the world. To us, it's more than just a roof. We've been earning trust for over 2 decades, roofing, siding, windows, and more. Go to bigfishcontracting.com to learn how Big Fish is renovating homes and redeeming an industry.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Hard to believe we're running behind in the Bryan Bulaga Homer Hour. Fisco Auto Body. It's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. They do auto body work, and they do it so well. Why? Because the family business, it's still in the family. So generation after generation, yeah, they're still doing it. The family's still doing it. Can you imagine how young they were when they started doing it? That's how they're so good. An expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Yeah, when you walk in there, you say, I'm going to Fisco. I want to meet a Fisco. I don't want to meet a Smith. I don't want to meet a Jones. Homer says the family business. I want to talk to somebody whose last name is Fisco. They'll be in line. There are so many of them. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. So you remember the name. Yeah, the questions have finally come up on YouTube. If Rodgers does end up going to the Steelers, how do you envision the game going? That's Packers at Pittsburgh, Sunday, October 26th. I can tell you this. You can almost assume, barring something odd, that the Steelers will be favored in that game. Might be just a few points, but they're going to be at home. if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. So, Bryan Bulaga, the world wants to know, if Rodgers does end up going to the Steelers, how do you envision that game going?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, I think they'll be favored by a little bit. I mean, like, because if you look at you take Aaron away from it, the Steelers' defense is still very good, right? Like, they still got a very good defense, and it's in Pittsburgh. It's Sunday Night Football. It's a tough environment in Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football, so it'll be a rowdy crowd, and then you add Aaron into it. Add Aaron, that whole dynamic to it, and we'll just have to see how the team is playing at that point, because, like, I don't know Pittsburgh's offensive line. I don't know what their run game's going to look like. Obviously, we know they have Metcalf. Like, I get that, but then who's the other wide receivers they'll have? They got rid of, obviously, what is it, Pickens? He went to Dallas.
Yep.
So, like, I don't know what other weapons they have. I know they have the tight end Freiermuth, right? He's a pretty good tight end. But I don't know what else they have. So, like, that's kind of, I don't know what type of offense Pittsburgh's going to be at that point in the season.
But it'll be better with Aaron Rodgers. I still believe it's better than Aaron Rodgers. There's a debate now, legitimately, as to just how good is Aaron Rodgers now. And I'm holding to that he had to recover to some degree last year from the injury.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't.
Absolutely.
You think you buy into that. I don't know. Somebody checked the tape of the last few games last year, and it seemed like he was better. I didn't watch enough to know that.
I mean,
but
I think there's an obvious period of, even though that you're back playing, you still got to recover from that injury, no matter what. And that's what happened early on in that season. As he got to the back half of it, he started playing better and feeling more like himself. So,
would the win feel better if they beat Pittsburgh Steelers with Aaron Rodgers? No one's going to believe me. I don't care. It'll feel good either way because it's a road win against a good organization. But I'm in the minority. You don't have to answer that. He's your friend. Have you talked to him yet about playing at Augusta?
Nope.
Are you ever gonna? That's totally on me, isn't it? I gotta do all that.
Yep.
All right. I'm not getting any help from John Kuhn. He doesn't appreciate how much he owes me for playing there twice. So, all right. No NBA playoff game. Stinks. That's why I like the earlier playoffs, because there's so many games. None tonight. Thursday, more of the questions that are on YouTube for Bryan Bulaga. Next.
41 southbound is going to be backed up from Appleton